Welcome to J-Loop.
Welcome, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning, Jesse.
It's really hot.
It's hot. We're in a new office space.
Yeah. There was like 5 other ones we could choose from. This was kind of the best one.
I like it. I like the chairs. I feel
these
like
chairs
they
are
swivel
nice.
and they're comfortable. We're dealing a little bit with a sound issue.
Yeah. I forgot
So-
something stupid.
Just bear with us. We're close on time because of it. And to top it all off, to prove how human we are repeating what we recorded last week.
Oh yeah. I know, this will be fun.
Because
I feel like we'll really have last week was something where it wasn't quite perfect, and now we'll cut those edges off and just trim,
yes,
taking some sandpaper and everything.
totally. So here we are. We sandpapered. We're on religion part 2. We got advice from my mother.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom. Is it Miss Nico? Is her last name Nico?
Yeah, you can call her that.
Well, I almost did, and then I wasn't sure if I should. But I always with moms, I was like, hi, Miss Nico.
Yeah.
How you doing?
So her advice was that we're talking over each other too much. So sorry if that's if you felt that.
Also, happy summer.
Happy summer. It is hot.
It is so hot. Even, what elevation is Park City at?
I don't know.
Like 8,000
7,
feet?
8.
Yeah, it's really high, and it's super hot here right now.
Woo!
Normally in mountains, when there's wind, when there's any sort of wind, the temperature drops 20 degrees, and that did not happen. Jeez.
All right, Jesse. Well, let's kick it off.
Okay, so that's actually funny because when your mom asked what we were doing today, and I was like, oh, we're doing religion part 2 and everything. You went to church with her, no?
Yes. So I grew up Catholic.
Right.
Roman Catholic.
Right.
And I went to a Catholic school
Mm-hmm.
until I was in 5th grade. And then that's when I put the clamp down that I needed to switch schools
Mm-hmm.
because it was just not emotionally what I was needing.
Was this still in the time when the nuns would throw chalk at you and stuff?
So I had one retired nun, and she did put me in the corner for being left-handed. Because that's the devil's child.
Yeah. That comes from, so in Greece, the Greeks, they would,
Yeah, and that too.
there was certain, they would do stuff to people who were left-handed. Sometimes they would, get executed. But apparently, the word sinister comes from a root word in their language that means left.
Oh, wow. That's interesting because my dad's Greek.
Mm-hmm.
He was Greek and left-handed, and I'm left-handed.
Is it genetic?
It is.
Really?
It is, yeah.
That's so strange.
Yeah.
I would never guess that.
And nobody, actually, the left-handed thing, this is kind of funny side note. My mom's visiting.
Yeah.
And every time I walk into the bathroom, the soap, she keeps switching my soap
Mm-hmm.
in the powder room.
To the other side?
Yes. And every time I walk in, I'm like, am I going insane?
Something's wrong here.
I'm like, why does my soap, because in my kids, they're just used to being raised by a left-handed mother. So
Yeah.
they're like, no, something's wrong. Why is it on the right hand
Wait, that's
side?
on the TV shows when somebody's like, let's pull a hilarious, elaborate prank. And they're like, oh yeah, okay, what do you want to do? And the person's like, let's move everything in their office 2 inches to the left. And then everybody's like, what? That's not going to do anything. And then the person walks in and they freak out. They're like, this isn't right.
Right.
It's not, what the fuck is wrong? I don't, what's wrong?
What's going on?
It's very psychological.
So that's how my religious journey began, was in Catholicism.
Okay.
Where did yours begin?
Let's see. I think it began at home. I have a big Mexican family, lots of them Catholic. some Christian. Honestly, the first I remember going to church was probably when I was like 7 or 8. I think just because we moved so much. And then like they would have, oh my gosh, I actually just remembered we used to go to these like home Bible studies type situations. Like it would be at someone's different house like every week or something. Wow. And they'd have like food and like pizza and everything. And it was sometimes it was super fun because you like go to someone's house and they'd have like a trampoline or something.
Oh yeah, and social.
Yeah, and there was like this family like homeschool kids. It was like cheaper by the dozen, but they were homeschooled and religious. Like cheaper by the dozen mixed with Tom Sawyer. And I would hang out with them all the time, and it was like super fun to hang out, you know, for the second. And then everybody's like, "Okay, come in. We gotta like pray and all that stuff." And that's when you're like, "Oh fuck." But then usually maybe you can just like sit on the floor and get comfortable and like think about, you know, like just hop in your imagination because you're like 7 years old.
Right.
And then we started going to this one church in Wyoming. And that was where I had some weird experiences. That place was strange. But yeah, that was basically the basis of it.
Was it Christian?
Yeah, it was non-denominational Christian.
Oh yeah.
Which I think is like the regular Christian shit.
Well, a lot of stuff. I feel like a lot goes on.
Yeah, well, and because non-denominational, they can kind of do anything, or like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, there's like
right where you're just like, okay, yeah, they're speaking in tongues.
Yeah, they can like make on-the-spot decisions and be like, yep, this is what our church does.
When the Holy Spirit's within you, it's definitely more. It's more free, but then it can add.
Well, it should be. Like, I remember there was this chick who, she was like a senior when I was a sophomore, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And her family had been going there for a while. And she was really pretty. She was beautiful. And extremely photogenic. Like, I think, like, the type of person where even if you didn't think she was attractive in person, if you saw a photo of her, you'd be like, holy smokes.
Okay.
And so she was modeling. And our youth pastor took her aside and was like, hey, there's demons inside of you. You can't be doing stuff like that. Like, you need to stop. And every blah blah blah. Obviously, her family, like, thank God her family wasn't supportive of her. They were like, fuck that. They just like left the church, you know?
Yeah.
So they would do stuff like that a lot.
Isn't it mind-boggling when people, this goes for religion and otherwise, when people want to make judgment on what you do for work, and you're like, so do you want to pay all my bills? Because I'd love for you to.
Well, and I'm like, I feel like they were just jealous. That
for
she
sure. I'm sure. And
they're wearing Rolexes and shit, you know? Like, while saying this to her, I'm like, okay, well, where'd that Rolex come from? Bucko.
Right, and also, like, oh, why? You can't control your sick mind when you look at her?
Literally.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
there was a lot of that in my church. It was so fucked.
Yeah, like, oh, okay, it's your fault. Well, this brings me to, so then I went on my journey of, like, deep spirituality.
When you were in 5th grade? 6th grade?
No, we would still go to church, but I just, like, was always the child, like, lighting incense in my room, feeling like, you know, like, really ethereal, super imaginative. Felt like I had, like, creatures visiting me from when I was young, like putting my ear on the grass and hearing the
heartbeat
spirits.
of the earth.
Yeah, heartbeat of the earth, spirits living with me. So,
what is that one thing called? It's like the bundle of, like, sage? Is that something that's called, right? Okay.
Oh yeah, sage, you name it, I had it from a young age. I got really, really obsessed with witches.
Yeah, you're pretty witchy.
Yeah, I'm one of those witches, babe. Still am.
Nice.
Can't sing anymore. Anyways, it's fine. So that kind of was like I just felt like God isn't linear, and whatever this power is, there's way more to it. So then I started doing yoga, Kundalini yoga, which totally just like bursted my third eye open into that there's like this big greater awareness out there that doesn't maybe fit in the confines of a church building.
Mm.
But what really took a wild turn is when I went to Los Angeles and I met a group of people and they were great. We were all working together. We're all artists and there was a lot going on there. And LaCroix.
Do you want some?
What flavor?
Fuck. Oh, black raspberry.
I'll take a
It's
little.
good.
I'll take a little try. I met a bunch of LDS Mormon people
Mm-hmm.
and went down that road,
Mm-hmm.
like to the point where I married one.
So that's how you got there? Okay. That's kind of crazy, actually.
That is so good right now because it's so hot in here.
God, I know.
Kind of tastes like a candle though, but not sure about that flavor. So that's how it happened. And then I was in that and I was like trying to be this thing that was super, because they have a lot of beautiful spirituality in the LDS religion. And their community aspect is on par. So I felt like this sense of belonging, this sense of creativity, right? Like all these things were great. But then when like we went down to the nitty gritty of like what it was all about, I'm like, this doesn't make any sense.
Mm.
And the not making sense really took over. I was like, I can still be friends with people. I can still have a community. I just can't be called into a bishop's office and thinking he's going to say something like nice to me or can I volunteer or do something, and he's sitting there looking at me and asking me why my hair is blue.
How long did it take to get to that point?
So I was in it for 6 years.
Was that like the 6th year?
It was because I was pregnant. I'm sorry, everybody. I can't control him.
This shit.
I was pregnant with my son, and I dyed my hair blue to be like cute, and I was doing hair modeling, so I was letting them do all this crazy stuff with my hair at the time. And I just didn't understand how my hair looked should matter at all of like my spiritual path. Like, like spirit is outside of us, like our physical body. They're saying in one hand, like our physical body doesn't even like really matter.
Right.
So like, why am I being brought into an office and then this person's telling me I'm much more attractive when I don't have my hair like this? Mm-hmm. And I was just like, I can't. I'm a very sensitive person. I'm very intuitive, and this is not the way. This isn't the path. Mm-hmm. And so what brought me out of it, my family was having a family reunion up in Napa Valley, and I knew, like, I was driving up there with my ex-husband, and I'm like, this is it. Like, I know I'm gonna try wine. Like,
we tried it.
But, well, I had already had, please, we drink the blood of Christ in the Catholic Church.
Right.
We literally are like, he turned.
Which is so pagan, by the way.
Well, for sure. But like the religion that I was in before this, we turned water into wine, and now they're trying to like be like, no, we sip water, and it's like, what is happening?
Do they have communion in the Mormon Church?
They do.
And do you still eat the body?
You still have
like
bread.
You eat a cracker or whatever?
Yeah, you have bread.
But you drink wine, or water.
Water cups. Water.
And it's supposed to turn to wine when?
I don't know. It's sanctified inside you. They just decided to like not listen to that whole part. Anyways, this is, I'm a Mediterranean woman. Like, you take wine out of me, it just doesn't feel right.
No, that doesn't make sense.
Right? It's just not. I'm not like a person that has to drink wine every night. I'm just like, if I'm going to a wine tasting in Napa, I'm tasting the godforsaken wine.
Well, I mean, I'm swallowing it. That's the thing. If I go to a wine tasting.
Yeah.
Well, that's spitting it out.
Oh, you don't know. You gotta like feel
People
the
do
whole.
That shit.
I know. Well, that's just
like
like.
There's like a spit bucket or whatever. Like, what is that about?
It's because if you feel like you're getting too drunk and then you can't taste it. I've been in that position.
Right.
Because it's about tasting it.
Right.
And when you do have too much,
you're so
you can't taste it. But you're asking me questions about wine tasting.
I'm just giving you shit.
Sometimes there's an age difference.
No, you were this crazy mix of bougie and feral.
I am. It's so true. I'm a bougie feral woman.
Yeah.
I love that typo.
Yeah.
So I've done a lot of talking. Go ahead. This is chapter 2 of mine. I then released myself from that religion because it was not making me happy.
So you went through Catholicism, and then spirituality, and then LDS, and now you're back to spirituality.
Back to spirituality.
Like a Buddhism sort of point of view?
Yeah, I mean, I was dating a Jewish man for a long time who I was absolutely in love with, and I think that
But his mom was like, but she's not Jewish.
No, she actually loved me, and she's like, I think people think I am Jewish. Like,
yeah.
There's like roots there, probably, and so she...
Oh, people think I'm Jewish all the time. It kind of bums me out, actually. It's just because of my hair.
No, why?
I know, because of my hair.
Well, it shouldn't bum me out.
And I'm like... yeah, but I'm like, look at my skin. You ever see Jews are never dark.
That's not true.
That I've ever noticed.
That's not true. I disagree. But so here I am. I'm back on my spiritual journey. I teach Kundalini yoga still.
Mm-hmm.
I think that being open and in line with our angels and our greater powers that be outside of us is a really, really, really significant and magical experience that everybody should have. Mm-hmm. I do believe that.
Have you ever read the Bible?
I have.
Just once? Yeah, twice. The first time I read it to say I read it, but I think I read a lot of it too fast, and then I had to read it again.
Oh.
Because I'd read through a book and be like, fuck, I actually don't really know what happened. Whatever, keep going. You know what I mean? You just read the words.
Totally.
At the time, I wanted to be a good... I guess I really did just want to say it because I didn't care, even at that age when I was in middle school, I didn't really care about being a good Christian, even though, up until I was in 6th grade or 7th grade or something, I was always drugs are bad and I'll never do stuff like that. And then I turned 12 and I was like, let's smoke some fucking bank.
Oh gosh, don't your children listen to this?
Yeah, they're gonna do whatever they want.
One of us is a parent here, the other one is not.
And I feel like my parents weren't even really parents.
Mm-hmm.
They were still figuring their shit out. But that's also one of the things too, as I got older, I realized because me and my mom after I turned 18, shit came out. We would go up to, we'd go down to Colorado to visit our family, and then we'd go to the church there or whatever for Easter or Christmas or whatever holiday it was. Maybe it was just summertime, we just go with the family. And they went to this huge church. It was massive. It was one of those evangelical Christian ones you see on TV with the fucking huge band. And,
right.
And all the blonde girls and shit.
Blonde.
We'd be in the parking lot about to head in just chugging wine. And then we'd fill up her 24-ounce coffee mug with wine and go in. Be like, is that enough? You good? Good? Need a cigarette real quick? Alright, let's go.
See, and that makes me so sad. It shouldn't have to be this thing that...
Oh, we turned into a party.
Right, but it's where you felt oh my gosh, we have to do all this to get through this.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I think that religion should not feel that way.
Yeah.
I think you should feel inspired and
that's why
encouraged.
I think the word religion is super negative. And it's technically no word should be negative. It's all about the connotation, but there's a difference between being spiritual and being religious, and I do believe this. Papa would always say, people who are religious have never been to hell. Because once you get there, you realize what the fuck spirituality is actually about.
Right, and a lot of people in religion, they're oh, it is all about, and I can't blame people, I think that religion, one of the biggest things with it, everyone takes it differently, is community. If you can, when I was LDS, I was able to go to Thailand, and I had an entire community around me that was stay with us.
Well, that's the trap. Holy smokes. And I guarantee most things I have to say about religion are definitely very harsh, because something like that, it's it's along the same lines of somebody needing somebody else, finding their other half or whatever, instead of becoming a whole person
right.
And being their own community, and then whatever you find in the world after that is so much fucking stronger and actually matters. especially because like the whole point to like, you know, I feel like people like stop being friends with each other over like different opinions and stuff like that. But that's stupid. You're going to have different opinions from every single person that walks this planet. So that's where it's like, in my opinion, you know, it's like, you know, the sheep, the flock, the mass, like, it's kind of a lazy way of like feeling good about yourself. Because you can walk in and everybody says they accept you as long as you do everything they want you to do.
Well, right.
Which
and
for
then,
some people is super easy. Not me. I don't know. That's just...
Yeah, and then like what is, you know, because I'm a life coach, it's like when I work with people, I think, I mean, it's written in my, you know, on my page and everything, like to know thyself is the greatest gift you can give yourself.
Right.
And when religion's point is to take that from you
right.
and follow and not know yourself, or only know yourself through God in Christ, or like, if I'm like, through spirituality, I feel like I have become extremely close with a greatness outside of me. And in that, I'm like, that feeling and knowing did not fit in the confines of any of these. All right. Is that?
Not bad.
So try and tell us time's up. What
Very
time
soon.
is it?
You got 5 minutes.
What time is it?
About 49.
Got like 3 minutes. But
we can't do that anymore else, so next time we just gotta put on a timer.
right. Right.
I gotta be back on that.
Okay. Feedback.
Okay, but something crazy I always thought too, like, maybe not always thought, I feel like recently I've actually come into thinking about this. Like, okay, so the craziest thing about religion too is like, they always, especially like talk about like one God or like the one true God, and it like really makes you think about every other religion, especially the ones that like have come from like, you know, the Romans or the Greeks, especially like, because in the Bible he talks about like, you know, you will be committed to hell, all this other stuff, like if you worship other gods. So basically in the religions that come from the Bible that are all about only one God existing, this is what they say and teach. The thing that they're teaching it from is actually saying that there are a plethora of gods out there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually really insecure, because it's like telling you like, you're gonna burn in hell if you like even think about these other ones.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, like, who are they? And if you're not, you know, and if your God is like that all powerful and all knowing, then what is the existence of these other ones? Why are they even being talked about? And why would he be so insecure about it?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, we could go we could do 3 episodes on this, because I have a lot of thoughts about that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, family in all religions, or like this, you know, more masculine and feminine counterparts,
mm-hmm.
is such a big part of every single religion.
Mm-hmm.
Every single religion.
Right.
And to me, I'm like, okay, well then why wouldn't the creator, the God, have, to me it's almost like these like relatives, especially because I'm Greek,
mm-hmm.
in mythology, I'm like, wouldn't these be like maybe spawns of the one, right?
Yeah.
Right? Like there's so many things,
like
right?
how in Greek mythology there's like the Titans, there's like Kronos, and then there's the Titans, and then after that there was like Zeus and all of his siblings, but he's like the most powerful one, and then they were like on a level and like size, I guess, to where they could like mingle with the humans, and then they're creating like, you know, demigods and stuff like that, which is essentially what Jesus was. But also that's like one of those things where it's like, you know, even people talk about this like with like the US government, you know, how these dudes that wrote the fucking Declaration of Independence and like the Constitution and everything, like they wrote that shit with a fucking feather. Yeah. Like Joe Rogan has this hilarious joke where he's like, dude, if Thomas Jefferson came to life right now, he'd be like, you guys didn't change anything? He'd be like, dude, I wrote that like 200 years ago. Are you fucking kidding me? And it's like the same thing with the religion, like, and that's where I'm like, it's so pagan, because, you know, every Sunday these people are going to church and they're ingesting the blood and body of like a demigod, just right there, right in front of everybody, to like make them stronger. And I know it's like symbolism, but if we're talking about manifestation, the word symbolism doesn't mean fucking shit. Because especially if we're talking about, you know, when Jesus presented that at the Last Supper, if this dude could turn water into wine, I guarantee you that he could turn, you know, water into his own blood, or he could bleed right then and there.
Right.
And that's like, it's been 2,000 years people were doing that. And they're like, that's fine.
Yeah.
Nothing needs to change.
Well, we could go on. I would love for people to write in, tell us about your religious experiences, what brought you to it, and no hating, just love.
Woo!
Just love here. All right, we have to go.
Much love. Bye, everybody. Happy Tuesday.
Have a good week.
Dun, 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 dun.